Good afternoon, everybody. So, people who are joining online, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Today is April 13, and we are in the midweek of April. So, as usual, let us see our schedule. So, you see that according to our schedule, we are almost at the end of this semester of this course. And this week we will discuss module 8, that is the last module, two-dimensional array. Okay, and please be ready for the test, and your test will be next week, right? So for our section, it will be April 22nd during your test time, your test 3 week. Okay, please be ready for the test. So whatever I discussed in my previous 3 weeks about class and objects, that are enough for test 3, and then maybe you will get some test question from this week or next week or module 8. Okay. So if you can develop a class, how to declare a class with methods and some variables, some fields methods, getter and setter methods, and then in the main method, if you can create object, and also you can write constructors, the default constructor and some overloaded constructor. Then you're good. Your test 3, 50% point will be from class development. Okay, writing class. Has anyone any question about class? I discuss a lot. If you do some practice, you need some practice. Okay, so if you do not practice, then what will happen in the test? You will write something and you will forget something, and then you will not be able to complete. So then you will lose point. Okay, so let us see our. One of the lowest test quiz grade will be dropped. Okay, so I like you to take all the quizzes. So if you take all the quizzes, then one of the lowest quiz grade will be dropped. So that it has some advantage. Okay. So if you drop a quiz, then that is 0. Right? So that will be dropped, but you take it. But if it is not 0, maybe it's medium, then the lowest one will be dropped. In that case, you will get some advantages. Okay, so today I think we have only a few things to discuss. Actually, two-dimensional array. Actually, array, you are familiar with array. So the title module 8 title is says two-dimensional. Okay, we will discuss two-dimensional and then array and then list. Okay, so while we discuss one-dimensional array, so we discuss list. So can anyone please tell me what is a list? What is a list? Yes. Tell me a definition of a list. So when you go for shopping, we do a list, right? List of items that what we want to do. Okay, so the list is the name of some items. The to-do list, right? We maintain our to-do purchase list. Okay. The concept of list came from the concept of set. Everybody is familiar with set, right? Set is a set and list. They are a collection of some things, some items. Usually, a set is called a collection of similar objects, right? So there is a basic difference between a set and a list. Can anyone please tell me what is the difference between a set and a list? I discussed this earlier. Discussed one-dimensional array. In math and statistics, you learn set, right? If you took high school math course, you learn set, right? And then now maybe it is new, you are learning list. So have you found any difference between set and list? Set versus list. Okay, one side we can say set, another side is list. Okay, we can say a set of numbers. Okay, so usually sets are defined enclosed with curly brace, right? So 1, 3, 5, 7, maybe 9, so on, something. Okay, a list of numbers. Okay, a list also can be enclosed with curly brace. 6, 1, 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 9. Maybe this one. Do you see any difference between the left side and right side? Yes. Huh? Yes, a list can contain repeating values. Can contain repeated. Is it repeated or repeating? Values. Cannot. The set cannot contain a duplicate value. We can say duplicate. You understand the difference, main difference? Okay. So, in programming language, okay, so actually we call list. In some languages, it's called list. Okay, and in some languages, in PL programming language, in most of the PL, a list is usually called an array. Okay, in some languages, it is still called list, like Python. In Python, it is called still a list, and array is called a list. The basic thing is a list, okay? So now I like everybody to remember that the basic difference or basic concept of a list is that a list may contain duplicate value. Or even we know that a set can be a null empty set, right? Empty set, null or empty set, we say empty set. So write like O and then like this. It's a null set, there is no element in a set. Conceptually, it can be a set, right? So for instance, if we say all living like living human who are dead, there is no one, right? Who is already dead, there is no living human, right? So that means conceptually we can define, but actually there is no element. Okay. So we can say a set of even numbers that are what? A set of numbers that are both even and odd, right? We cannot have any numbers that is both even or odd. So that conceptually we can give a definition of a set, but there is empty, that no element. Okay. In list also it can have empty elements. Okay. So for instance, if we declare like this and nothing inside, no element. So instead we write 5 or empty, but in list we will, or array, we will just declare an array and then we no element. Okay. So in our previous discussion, we discussed list or array. There can be one-dimensional array, 1D array, 1D, so one-dimensional. One-dimensional array, and then can have two-dimensional array, 2D array, can have three-dimensional array. If we write length, width, and height, okay, that is three-dimensional array. We can have four-dimensional array. We can say length, height, width, and time, right? So they can have two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, or multi-dimensional array. But as a human being, our human eyes can see only up to three-dimensional array. In some religions, people believe that there are angels, right? We cannot see angels, right? But there are some other living beings, like for instance, even Wi-Fi signal. We do not see it, right? We realize it, Wi-Fi signal, like mobile signal. We cannot see it, but our human eyes cannot see it, but reality exists. Okay, so in our discussion, we will go through actually two-dimensional array for today. Okay, so in the two-dimensional, so if you understand one-dimensional array, then two-dimensional array is just an extension of one-dimensional array. So a two-dimensional array, 2D array, okay. So everybody is familiar with a table that is a representation of some data into divided or organized into some rows and columns. Okay. So this is called row 1. Okay, and row 1. So row 1, row 2, and last one maybe row n. Yeah. Okay, you can say m, maybe m. Okay, so this is columns. Sorry. These are columns, say column 1, column 2, column 3, and dot dot column n. Okay, so for each row and column there is the intersection. Okay, these are called cell. So there are cell, for instance, if there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If there are 6 rows, okay, there are 6 rows and 5 columns, so then there will be 30 cell. 6 row, 5 column, then 30 cell. We are familiar with this, right? Okay. So this is in real life. So we represent a table, okay, as in mathematics we call a matrix, right? In real life, two-dimensional array table. In real life, a table. It's not a table. Tabular representation of data. Okay. So in real life, a two-dimensional array is a tabular representation of data. So in math, it's called a matrix. Right? Okay. So in programming language, so is a 2D array. Okay. So same thing. Tabular representation of data or a matrix or a two-dimensional array, these are same concept, same thing, okay? In programming language, we will say two-dimensional array. Okay, one thing in the major difference in programming languages, programming representation of a table of data or matrix is that in reality we say column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column n, okay? But and then these are row 1, row 2, row 3. So but in programming language we call this one row 0 or row 0. So instead of calling here row row 0, so row 1 we will say row 0, okay, and the second one we will say row 1, and the last one will be m minus 1. That is the difference. Okay, and then similarly column is only 0, column 1, column index 2, and last one will be column n minus 1. That is the difference in implementation in modern languages, but earlier languages like QBasic and other languages, they still used column 1, column 2, column 3, started column 1, but most the modern programming languages, then they start with 0. You know, as a human being, we naturally start counting from 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But there are some advantages of starting from 0. Especially all electronic devices start counting from 0. There are some advantages. Like for instance, if I say, as a human being, if I have like 3 switches, for instance, I have 3 switches, A, B, and C. 3 switch, okay, 3 light. So if I start counting from 0, if I have only one switch, for instance, only one switch, then I have 0 or 1, right? I can have 0 or 1, 2 different states. But if I could start counting from 1, only 1 can give signal only 1, right? But for counting from 0 has advantage. I can say 0 and 1. And then I have another 2 switches, then I can say 0, 0, then 0, 1, 0, sorry, This one I can say 1 0, and this one I can say 1 1. So with two switches I can give 4 signals. So with two switches 2 to the power 2 equal to, I can give 4 different signals. So if I add one more switch, then I can say all 0 0 0, and then I have 2 to the power 3 8 signals. Like if I have 10 switches, then 2 to the power 10 equal to 1024 different signals. Okay, similarly, like for instance, we started from counting from 1 to 10. 1, if we start counting from 1, then in order to say 10 things, last thing I need to say 10. 1 2 3 9 10. But we need all of this 1 digit, the last one is 2 digits. But if I could start from 0 0 1 to last one 9, all I have this 1 digit. So there are some advantages of start counting from 0. And in programming languages, we apply that advantage. Okay, I'm giving some extra time to give you a reminder so that you do not forget this, that we usually start counting from 0 in all programming languages, in electronic devices. Okay, so the concept is that, now let us come to our slides. So the difference between a one-dimensional and two-dimensional array is that, okay, so actually a two-dimensional array is an extension of one-dimensional array, some one-dimensional array. So for instance, this is a two-dimensional array, row and column, right, tabular format data. So we just discussed, right? So here, what we'll see, you see that these are row. So rows 0, row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means how many rows we do have? 7, right? We have 7 rows. And then how many columns we do have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, then I have 7 times 7 equal to 49 cells. And each of these cells is index, is represented by its index. So this one, it says 2 1, that means is column row index 2 and column index is 1. Okay, the first one is 0 0, and the last one is 6 6. Why is 6 6? Because 7 minus 1 comma 7 minus 1. Okay, so the last one is 7 minus 1 comma 7 minus 1. So this one will be, actually if I say m, this is actually, so if I say m rows, so how many, what is m equal to here? 7, right? And if I say n columns, so n columns, so how many n column? N equal to 7. So the last one will be, so the last one will be this one starting from 0, and the last one will be m minus 1, and this column started from 0, and the last one will be n minus 1. So if we have an array of m times n, okay, for an array of m times n, there is no cell with index, m comma n. So for this array, you see never you will see 7. In any position index you will not 7.7. 7 is the last one. 7 is the row size and column size. Okay, so this is the point people do mistake here, beginners, and especially they do mistake here. So I was grading one of your test question for test 2. I found a few students, they still did mistake. I discussed this in many times, I give remember. Still, some of you did mistake. So I got shocked whenever I saw my student in my section they did the same mistake. Because I discussed this several times. Okay, then today I will review it again, okay, to see. Okay, like an one-dimensional array, how do we declare two-dimensional array? Just we need for pseudocode we need to create array name, and this is number of rows and number of columns. The first one will go number of rows and the number of columns. Second will column. Okay. So how do we know that this is an array? By looking at square bracket, right? Whenever we see square bracket, then that is an array. Okay. So, but in programming languages, it is a little bit different. Okay. So this is pseudocode declaration, but in programming languages, in Java, we use two square bracket, two adjacent square bracket. First one, it means for row or one-dimensional array, and second one is two-dimensional. So for two-dimensional array, you will see two sets of square bracket. For three-dimensional array, you will have three sets of square bracket. Okay, so this one says it's int. This is array symbol, two-dimensional array, and this is array name, and the new is operator, and int is again type, and it's a 10 and then comma 20. That means there will be 10 rows and 20 columns. Okay, this is in Java. Okay, and this is in C#. Is different. In C#, there is one comma in between. The first placeholder is for row, and second one is for column. Okay, and here you see that again we will use one square bracket, one set of square bracket, but we will use comma in between. So in order to declare a three-dimensional array in C#, we will need two commas, right? In between two commas, one for instance. So if I want to make a three-dimensional array, we will use two comma. Okay, and you will have two commas. Okay, this is in C#, but in C++, declaring an array is pretty simple. Just we say int and then array name and then row and column. We don't need to use new. We say new int. Like in Java and C# we use new int, and then in C++ we don't. This is very easy. Okay, so in your test, if you write some code or something, for instance, if you forget, for instance, like if you say this is one-dimensional array, we will not believe it, you will lose point. So if you say like this, and if you write this is my two-dimensional array now, what is wrong here? One square bracket is missing, right? One set of square bracket is missing. You may have space or you cannot have space, that is good, there's no issue, but you need two sets of square bracket. So once you understand this, then the left of the thing is easy. So as I said that a two-dimensional array is actually a combination of some one-dimensional array, right? So this could be a one-dimensional array. This is a one-dimensional array, and this is another one-dimensional array, and this is another one-dimensional array. And if we can combine them, then we are getting a two-dimensional array. Okay. So now we understand 2, 3. This cell address is row index 2 and column index 3. So you see that for all of these, if there is no mistake, then all of these has unique address, unique row and column. So by looking the unique row and column, okay, so we insert value or retrieve value from an array. Okay, so for instance, if you are asked to put value this cell. Okay. So in English, when we write English, we say that it is third column and fourth row. We will say this third column and fourth row, right? Okay. So if I say column, so this one is, remember that this one, I will say this one in English. We will say this one third rows, the element at third row and fourth column. So when I say third or fourth in English, general English, okay? So that means you have to think that the third rows is the with index 2 and fourth column with index, or I can say the element, or I can say the element at row index 2 and column index 3. So whenever in your test question, you will get like this in English, in natural English, in English. And then in programming languages, this one, or in PF, we will say this one. Do you know that sometime in some countries, even my countries and some in British format, something, say elevator, or in the building you will say floor 0, that means ground floor. Okay. In some elevator they say level 0, right? Elevator is the level 0, that means level 1. So the 1 means the floor level, and 0 is ground. Okay. Yeah, in our country we have floor, building floor name like differently. Okay. So we follow a British, sometimes British. Okay. So, but this is sometimes, so I like none of my students will do this mistake. So everybody understand? Everybody understand that the difference between these and these. So mostly in your test question you will get like this. But you have to convert, you have to understand this, okay? Has anyone any question? Now you will see that if I say this array name is my array, then we say for my array with index 2 and column 3, we put the value assigned value 42. So that means 42 will come here. So this 42 will go here. Has anyone any question? You have a question, Karzan? So now, if you understand this, then see the most of our slides and easy. Then you need this if you want to do game, develop a game, okay, like chess game, right? So every element has its own position. So you want to develop games, so then you will need good understanding of array. Okay, so what do you understand from this statement? What is meant by this? What is the array name? People who are joining online, please tell me. What is the array name here? array? Huh? Please speak out loudly. Yes, grade. The name of the array is grade. Okay, why do we write array here? So it's a pseudocode, right? In pseudocode, and then we need to use create array. So what is the dimension of this array? 4 by 4. Okay, there are 4 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so what is the element with the highest indices? What is the element with the highest indices? If I ask you a question like this, so it says 4 by 4, right? So let us draw this. We have 4 rows and 4 columns. So this index has 0, 0, right? Okay, 0, 0, we will put a square bracket. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. I'm not giving square bracket, okay? You can give square bracket. And 0, 3, right? 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. So the last one will, this one will be 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, and this is 3, 3. So which cell has highest indices? This cell, right? This has highest indices, right? The plural of index is indices. Okay. So indices, that means 3 is the for highest index for row and 3 is for highest index for column, right? So I was asking this question: what is the highest index for a array of 4 by 4 size? The highest index. So cell with highest indices. You understand? Okay. If you understand this, then there have been maybe remaining 40 or 50 slides is something that you already understood. Okay. So that 4 by 4. Okay. Initially, when you declared an array like this, if it is, so in pseudocode format, it's 4 by 4. It is an integer type array. For instance, these values all are 0. Initial value 0 for an integer array. Okay. So then now we need 2 for loops, right? So for accessing one-dimensional array, we need 1 for loop, and here we need 2 for loops. 1 for row and 1 for column. So we need to start from 1 row, and starting from 1 row, we need to go all column values. Okay, so we'll see some. Okay, so see the first one is that for each element in a row. So this one is for row. Okay, and the second one is for each element in a column. Okay, so for each element in a row and for each element in a column, if we do like this, can you guess that what I will get here at the end? What will be my output of this array or of this matrix? It will be a multiplication table, right? At the end, it will be multiplication table. So what I'm doing, I'm adding row index plus column index. I'm putting row index and column index. So this one will be 0, this one will be 0, 0, 0, and all of this will be 0, and then this one will be 1. So something kind of non-actually diagonal element I will get. Let us see. For instance, this one will be value, we'll put is row value is 0 and column value will be 0. So that this value will be 0 times 0. Okay. And next, start from one row unless it completes all the elements of a column elements. So then it will be still going. So starting, it will start from this. Start from this array, this row, and then it will go first this value, second this value, third this one, fourth this one. After finishing this, then his row will be moving down, and the string column value will be coming from the left. This one, and this one, and this one, and this. After that, it will go this one, and this one, this one, this one, and this one. After this, row will go last, and column will here, 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 and here. So you see that we are getting all zero values here. Why? Actually, we will get all zero values here. Let me go for a few slides. So this one will go 0 times 0, and then second one, what value will here get here? Can you please tell me? So we got this one 0, right? And then what value will be here? So we are doing row times column. So for all of these, row value is 0, right? And then column value will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So everything, anything multiplied by 0 will be 0. But all of values for the first row will be 0. So ultimately this one 0, and this one will be row value 0, column value 1, multiplication equal to 0. Okay, third one will be again row value 0, column value 2, 0 times 2 equal to 0, right? Third one, row value equal to 0 and column value equal to, okay, there is a mistake over here. Okay. Actually, there is no column value 4. There is a type over here. Actually, this does not exist. Okay. So after that, row value will be the second row. Row value will be 1, and column again will reset. Starting from 0. Okay. And then this value will be 1 times 0 equal to 0. So this value will be 0, and this value will be 1 times 1 equal to 1, and so on. This value will be 1 times 2, 2, and then 3. Okay. I like you to go through all of these slides. It's easy, I think. At the end, so you see that on many slides until 50. So we have so at the end we will get the first row 0, second first column 0, and then the other cell value will be the multiplication of the multiplication table, something. Okay. So please go through these slides, and then has anyone any question? Do you have any question? So now let me go through a live program. Let us see. Okay. This is the pseudocode. So I have only a few slides. Let us go to the slides, and then I will go live program. Okay. This is the pseudocode for two-dimensional array. So you see the create array. So the problem is that create an array of 4 rows and 5 columns. Populate the array with numbers 1 to 20. Okay. So here is a 4 rows and 5 columns. So this is my array, and okay, we can say we are counting variable and another variable. Actually, I need to create count. So you can say equal sign instead of equal 1. Initially count, I would say 0. Whatever it says, 0 or 1. Okay. And for each row, each element in a row, and for each element in a column, so we are getting okay. Oh, so it says count from 1 to 20. Okay, so that means it's 1. So then we are getting count over here. Count value initially 1, and then after input count value, we are increasing count value by 1. Okay, so this is the pseudocode, and you see that this one is inner loop, and inner loop it starts later but it ends earlier. The outer loop it start earlier but it ends later. So this is end outer for. This one is outer for. Okay, so this one is inner outer for, and this one is inner for. Okay, has anyone any question about this pseudocode? Okay, there is a typo over here. It should be create all uppercase. It should be all uppercase. Okay, so this is in pseudocode format, and if we go in our programming language, so this is in Java, we say that this line is different. And this is the for loop, the first one. We start from row 0 and we say row less than the row length and row plus plus. You say plus plus row or row plus plus, same thing, but give attention here. Some of you may do mistake over here. I don't like that any of my students will do mistake here. What are the possible mistakes we can do here? Can you tell me? I want everybody to understand this. This is the place that you made a mistake. This line is correct, but okay. So for instance, the row variable you declare over here, you could declare earlier. You could say integer row. So you could say int row variable earlier, but it's okay. For the for loop you can do. But with the while loop, you cannot declare variable. Some student did mistake in while loop. Okay, so here row started from 0, and then how about if you count from 1? Then you will lose the first row, right? You are getting second row, starting from second row. And how about if you give equal sign here? This is a great mistake. So why it will be a great mistake? Can anyone please tell me? If I say equal sign here? Yes. Yes, if I had 5 rows, then I could give 4 over here, equal 4, okay? So that we earlier we discussed that. I spent a lot of time, at least 20 minutes I spent to give a reminder that for any array, for this array, the highest index is for 4 by 4 array, highest index is 3 by 3, 3 comma 3. So if you keep equal sign, then you need to give 3. This is okay. You understand? Either if say less or equal to 3, then this is correct. Or if you say less than 4, that is correct. The possible mistakes over here that you can say less or equal to 4, that is a mistake, right? So if you say less or equal to 3, that is correct. But if you say less than 3, then there is one kind of mistake over here, that you will lose the last row, right? So starting from 0 and less than 2, that means 0, 1, 0 and 1 and 2, right? Less than 3. Starting from 0 and less than 3, then 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so I like everybody to use the last here row index. Never ever use equal sign here, please. Some people do like this, some people do like this, equal to 3, but I don't like you to do this practice. It's bad practice, okay? So that means this is bad practice. Please do not be used to this practice. You may see in some books also this bad practice. So always never and ever use the equal sign over here. Less than, always less than and then 4. So in programming language, if I say this 4, then less than, then I can say grid dot length. Okay, there is a length method. Then if I say grid dot length, then even you do not need to write 4. You don't need to write hard coded length. Okay, it will get automatically length. Okay, and similarly this one is column, right? So never and never use equal sign here. So either say hard coded the column value over here, or say I'm sorry, is that grid? I can say 0 in language 0 dot length, or we can say in some languages it's different. Maybe this is grid actually, and here you can say grid 0 dot length. So that should be dot. But if you give equal sign, if you use equal sign length over here, you cannot give equal sign. That is a common mistake. Your program will give error. Okay. So has anyone any questions so far? Okay, so this is the program code. So this is for row, and this loop is for column. Okay, and this is in Java code, and this is in C# code. Okay, so the main difference in C# we use only one set of square bracket, but inside we will use comma. See here the difference here. Everything is same, and one minor difference is that in C# there is no length method. It's called length attribute, and L is in uppercase. Just length attribute, that means there will be no square bracket, no parenthesis. Okay, I like everybody to practice this, and then in C#, C++, this code is a little bit easier. We say row and column, and then we will use row and column here we want, like in Java format, right? In Java format, but the declaration is easy, like this one. The declaration is easier. So please practice this, okay? Before you come to our next lecture, please practice this. Has anyone any question about this? If you understand this, then you are set for two-dimensional array. I will give you some examples, okay? I have some programs written, and then I will share with this one. But before that, has anyone any question? Okay. So far, So far, the one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, we discussed that is called static array. Okay, but static array has a limitation. One of the limitation is that if you declare an array, but if with size for one-dimensional array, if you declare an array, for instance, you want to write your friend list, your name, you want to write phone number of your friends. Initially, if you thought that you have 100 friends, okay, you declare an array, string type array of 100, size is 100, right? Size is 100. But if you have two more friends, or one more even extra friend, okay, you cannot use that array. So on the fly, when the program is running, you cannot change the size. If you are a programmer, if you have source code, you can change it, right? But most of the people who are using your program, they do not have source code. They don't have programming language, right? So whenever we use calculator, the application we are using on phone, there are many. We are using just the final version of the application, executable version. We are not using source code. They don't give you source code, right? So you don't have access to the source code. You cannot change size. So that is the limitation of static array. So in order to resolve that issue, okay, there is a concept of dynamic array. In some languages, there is a built-in dynamic array. It's called array list. So the concept is the array is also list, right? List is also array. But in programming language, it's called array list. Name is given this. Okay. So array list is a dynamic array. Array list has array list actually a built-in class. So in programming languages, array list has a built-in class. So in Java, it is within utility package. So then if you create an array, so this is say array list. So I will tell you what is the difference. What is this? Okay, in a second. But let me say this is forget now. So now for a minute, forget about this. Again, the battery is down. I don't know why there. Okay. For a second, forget about this. Okay. That whenever if you say array list color, what is mean by this? This color is an object, right? An array list is a class, right? We know that, right? Okay, and then equal to new array list. Okay, and we are saying over here n. So this is the square bracket. We are using parenthesis here, not square bracket. This is that something new, right? Okay, but forget about that for now. What is mean by string within square bracket? So this is that means color is an array list object. Its type is array list. Their size is n. Whatever n you say n is equal to 2, then you will say 2. If you say n equal to 20, then it will get 20. Initial size. And then whenever you get more element, you can add 2 elements. So if say initial 2, then you can element more than 2 elements. So whenever you go to add more than 2 elements, it will expand automatically. Your program will not crash. Okay, this is the concept of array list. So this is the Java program. I like you to copy and paste and practice this program. Okay, and here now let's understand what is mean by string within angle bracket. This is kind of a restriction. It's one kind of restriction. Okay, it's called in some languages it's called generics. Is restriction that means this array, this array list object, this means color, can have only string type value, nothing else. So only string type value. So this string means the square bracket. This is the restriction. That means it can hold only string type value. So the having restriction is good, right? It is giving you a reminder that you cannot have an integer type value or double type value or float type value or boolean value. So now you understand what is meant by this square bracket. This means this whenever you put value in it, it only takes integer type, string type value, this type value. And there are some built-in methods, for instance, add, remove, is contain, that are used to put add values. So this operation is not usual array operation. Okay, so this user, for instance, is contains method, whether it will say whether this array contains the pink color, this is value any color with value pink. If yes, then it will return a true value. If it is no, then it will return a false value. Okay, so I like you to copy and paste and run this program. So this is in Java, and within in Java the program code over here. So the two pages, one first page and second page, all together in one program. Okay, please practice it. Okay, and give a few more minutes. Next lecture I will give you my code, but you can try it. Okay, and this is in C#. The main difference in C# is that one thing is that in C# all methods start with uppercase letter. In Java, lowercase. So Java, if you remember that, you see that A is in lowercase, but in C# add A is in uppercase. And contains here is in C is in uppercase. And almost other methods are almost same. Okay, so please practice both two languages, two programs. Here one is C# and one is Java. Okay. And the last thing for C++ people, in C++, the dynamic array is called vector. Its name is given vector, okay? In Java and C# it does not call vector, it calls array list. And almost same thing is almost same thing, but it is different. So add, you said v dot add I, that means at position I. Okay, it says pushback, and there are some built-in methods. So our slides do not have enough code, but this actually we will discuss this in 1322 course. But if you need this, if you will not, just do a Google search, you will get a lot of examples and code. Okay, you will get a list of methods that are available for array list operation. Just do a Google search, array list methods in C++, or in Java or C#. You will get a complete program. Okay, and then please practice from there. Okay, and for instance, if you say array list Java, it's array list methods. Okay, just do a Google search. You say that array list method in Java or C#, you will get methods. Or if the W3 school is simple one, right? Is Java point, I like it, and then Geeks for Geeks is another good source. You'll see a bunch of programs, then array list, and then it has all methods. So it has all methods. It has and the description, and it has examples. So just in this lecture, in this actually course, we are just giving you an idea of dynamic array. But in detail of dynamic array that you will learn in 1322, how can we create array list type data structure. You will learn that in a data structure course, you will learn how to do it yourself. Okay, but here just to give an idea. So we are not discussing in detail, but details are you will see in a book or in online resources. So if you understand, so now from this one, do you understand that why do we have integer in angle bracket? What is the reason? That means this array will take only integer value. You cannot give string type value, okay? So that is a good reminder, that is a reminder, or restriction is a reminder, right? You cannot do a step. Even if you try to do this, given string value over here, as soon as you type in, compiler will get error. Compile time error. So I have 1 more minute. So I have example 2D array. Array, example 1 Java, and then C++, and then C#. Matrix operation, 2D array, data source format in Java and in C#. So sorry, I don't have enough time today, otherwise I had my plan to discuss this. But next lecture I will spend the whole time to discuss this, okay, this program. But it will be nice if you please copy this program in your account and try to spend some time, try to understand, okay? One. Oh. So this one I already gave you. Two. I already gave you. This one 3. And the last two, these two, you will get a test question, either in your test 3 or your final. You will get a test question from this, okay? The last two. So the last two says you will be given a data set, and you will be asked to use the data set to declare or assign in a 2-dimensional array, and to check whether an element exists in the array or not. If it exists, how many times it exists. This is a potential test question, okay? So the last two, this one and this one, same question I did in Java and C#. Also maybe I have C++ format. Should have this. Okay. I'm sorry, maybe I don't have it, but I can make it C++. It's easy, okay? So you will probably get a test question from this. Right? So whatever I shared with you, please spend some time to understand, okay? If you spend some time, that's good. If you even do not understand it, please spend some time, okay? Try to understand this. And in our next lecture, we will spend almost the whole time to discuss this. Has anyone any question so far?